My partner, 34M, of 8 years left me, 29F for his childhood friend who was widowed recently with 2 kids. How can I move on from this betrayal? I, 29F, was with my partner, 34M, for 8 years. 2 weeks ago, I came home at 10 p.m. from a long day and he was behaving strangely, was talking on the phone when I came in and he immediately hung up. We wanted to watch TV for 30 minutes before bed. However, he was behaving so strangely that I kept asking what's wrong, and suddenly, out of nowhere, he asked me, "Could you imagine a life without kids?" I said, to be honest, I can imagine both a life with and without kids. It is not really on top of my mind and never has been, and we had discussed this hundreds of times before. He had no concern. He then said he had developed an extremely strong urge to have children immediately. He then said that he thinks we need to break up because I'm not sure, and if he wants kids, he needs to meet someone new, be with them for a couple of years before having children with them, so it's a good time to break up. I was at a loss for words, to be honest. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I was in a state of complete shock that our relationship was over within 5 minutes on a random Thursday night on the couch. There was no preparation. No, we need to talk. He did seem very sad, and he told me he's confused why I don't want kids because I'm so in love with animals and can show so much love to dogs, but he hasn't seen me be very excited around kids ever, which is true, but that's what I have always been like. Some backstory: last year he was diagnosed with cancer. I stayed by his side through everything: the fear, the treatment, the uncertainty, the conversations about fertility, the possibility that life might never look the same again. I genuinely prioritized his well-being above my own. The sickness left me with wounds of my own forever, including fear of recurrence for him and a fear of getting cancer myself. Therefore, I felt extremely sorry for him when he told me he wants kids, and I couldn't give him that. The weekend after the breakup, I stayed with a friend and cried my eyes out, sad to lose him, but also feeling guilty that I can't give him what he wants. Well, was I in for a shock? I was already suspicious that something was going on in the background that I didn't know. This is because some weeks prior to this, he had met up with a former childhood friend, who I had never heard of, that he had no contact with for 10 years, in his hometown 1.5 hours away from where we live, who has lost her husband in December of last year and already has 2 kids under 5. They met to reconnect and talk about what had happened to both of them last year. After the breakup, I saw something strange in the ChatGPT account we share, because I pay the premium subscription and he didn't want to pay as well. He was searching for cars to buy for the specific route from our city to his hometown. I asked him about it, and he just claimed his colleague told him that they get a discount on cars at work as of recently, so he wanted to check out if it made sense financially. I already didn't believe him, so a day after the breakup I went on his laptop, opened his messages, searched for the girl's name, and nothing showed up, so I immediately knew he must have deleted the chat with her. Nevertheless, I still wasn't sure what was going on. 5 days after the breakup, I was back home after having stayed with a friend. He left, so I locked the door from the inside, opened his messages on his laptop again, and there it was. The naked pictures, the vacations booked with her, the hotels booked, the conversations about sex, the conversations about "this is the craziest thing I have ever done." I fell head over heels in love and had to turn my life upside down. I'm so glad we're going all in on this. I'm looking forward to everything the future brings with you. Needless to say, my entire body was shaking. I was enraged. I was heartbroken. The betrayal went beyond everything I thought was possible. It did read like they had not slept with each other yet, but the messages before the breakup were all deleted and the messages were clear. They fell in love when they met a couple of weeks ago, and he was ready to leave me behind for her. I gave him some hints that I knew what was going on, said I saw that he kept asking ChatGPT for car recommendations. He even created a secret subfolder in ChatGPT, thinking I wouldn't see it, and he DNI'd it. claiming he just wants to play a bigger role in this family's life, which I kept him from because I never seemed excited to be there. Only when I revealed that I had read all of their chats, he sent me a long message acknowledging that he handled everything terribly. He admitted he emotionally betrayed me, lied, and didn't give our relationship a fair ending before moving on. He says he will regret hurting me for the rest of his life. He said he was overwhelmed and had to make a quick decision due to the feelings for her. But what I'm struggling with isn't only the betrayal. It's the feeling of being replaced so easily. He told me our years together were the happiest of his life in the first breakup conversation. He told me he had loved me as a person, but we would never be happy together because of the difference in our visions for our future. Which is fair, but all of this just seems so unfair and quick. What hurts even more is that this new woman seems to represent everything he now says he wants. She already has 2 kids. She probably wants more children given that her husband died. She's from the same hometown. They share mutual friends from years ago, though he hasn't seen them in a decade. And she entered his life right when he was questioning everything after cancer. They were also talking about their strong bond because they both experienced how quickly life can end. I was there with him during diagnosis, treatment, remission, so I know this too. I just feel like absolute shit. They're planning their family life together, barbecues with former friends. He invited her to our city to meet his friends that I have known for 8 years too. I just can't comprehend that he just replaced me and doesn't care at all. At the same time, I feel guilty. She experienced trauma, as did he. Should I just be happy they found each other at the right place, right time? I keep asking myself, why wasn't I worth fighting for? Why didn't he talk to me openly before emotionally investing in someone else? Why does it feel like I carried him through the hardest period of his life, only for someone else to get the version of him that is excited about the future? I know our relationship wasn't perfect. We had communication issues, intimacy issues, and unresolved conversations about children. I'm not claiming I was a perfect partner. But I can't get over the fact that I never got the chance to work on those issues together. He made the decision while already emotionally connected to someone else. For people who have been through something similar, how did you stop feeling replaced? How did you stop comparing yourself to the new partner? How do you deal with the unfairness that you're going through heartbreak and the cheating partner is happy? And how do you make peace with the fact that someone can love you deeply, yet still leave? Should I ask him for one last conversation? After I found the chats, I kicked him out and we've only talked via text, which feels weird. I want to look him in the eyes and tell him how much I hate him. Edit, I want to thank every single person that has commented. I was hesitant to post this as I was afraid that one day he would find this post and think I went completely insane to share our story on the internet, although it's anonymous anyways. I've learned from this situation and from your comments that I didn't deserve this, should move on immediately, live my best life, and never again put someone else's needs above my own. I would have loved to keep this relationship in good memory after all these years, all the challenges, different life phases, college, first jobs, building a career, his sickness, my own struggles with my own family history, etc. I'm sad that I have to keep him in my memory as a cheater. But I will move on now and try to keep my dignity. I'll definitely update this thread if anything new happens. So far, he has unfollowed me on Instagram last week when I kicked him out, but he's still watching my stories, so I guess at least I can laugh about the fact he seems to think I don't see that. This is where the age gap really shows. Sending love to you all. Drop your verdict in the comments. Wait, what?